Yes.
And we're live. Hello, everybody.
Yes.
What is up? Hope you're well. As well as you can be.
Boo.
Right? What are you booing about, Samuel?
Oh, you know, news. And I'm sorry,
News is a good thing.
the positivity of we're getting more Strange Worlds is not overshadow Lower Decks. Because they fully respect visual canon, people canon, character canon. They brought back Nog and Rom and Quark, and Strange Worlds ain't doing any of that. They're actively making worse Gorn. Actively changing. They're not actively supporting. So to lose one show that's actively supporting Modern Trek is bastards.
In case you guys haven't heard the news, Stranger World's getting season 4 confirmed,
new.
But it's also the last season of Lower Decks this fall.
And it's not as if they got warning. This is a case of whatever you finished with, that's where you're getting. It's not like they're getting one more season, and that is it. So what they are finishing is it.
Yep.
And it isn't depressing they had to announce their announcement. But don't worry, the episodes are not leaving Paramount Plus. That's literally part of their announcement. Because that's a horrifying thing they have to clarify, that it's not being banished from the internet.
Like Prodigy was.
Well, another nut kick to the fans after so many this year. It's the cheapest show they make. Jesus Christ, why couldn't they make 7? So damn cheap. Cheaper than Prodigy. Yeah. Crazy, Stuart, crazy.
Yep. Anywho's, we're here to talk about episode 3 of season 5 of Discovery, Jinaal.
The Trill one. And do go watch our Ed review from earlier. Not many of you have, so do go watch it. It's our first reaction. You need to support them, guys. Make sure we keep doing them, because you need to watch. So go have a look.
Ozzy, $2.
Oh.
Shuttle bay door was open.
It was.
Of course it was.
That wasn't last week, so.
Fleetpaw, $2. Have no fear. Fleetpaw is here. Boo on Lower Decks.
My fear level is down. Thank you very much. I wonder if it's just different animators that in joke. Of course, why Discovery's doors always open. You know, Bob to episode 2, Jeff to episode 3, Sandra's for 4. Some weird alien name for 5. I don't know.
Ozzy, $2. Hashtag Lower Decks save. I think it should be hashtag save Lower Decks.
That would make more sense. Yes.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Stuart? 'Cause I was having a reasonably decent day until that.
Same. It has bummed me out as much as it has you, though, apparently.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Your energy level is through the floor.
Well, that's, yeah. Punch the gut. And that was what, 11 minutes ago you told me? 2 minutes ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was better coming from me than finding another way.
True. It's funny, we are very conscious to each other to send each other the breaking news, and we do end up being...
Yeah.
I think I told you probably was cancelled first. I think I got you there. Well, fuck,
I think so.
I think that was me thing.
Yeah, it was.
But yes, I'm going to start a poll.
25 of you, 17 likes. Like the video, guys. Hit the like button. Easiest way to help us out. And everyone can do it. So, yeah. I'm going to talk about the Trill one. This probably won't be the longest of reviews because, well, I don't have all the detailed files that I normally have. But that's okay. We at least know the gist of what's going on. Let's get Sam's spirit up. Yes, Fleetpaw. Hit the like button, folks. And super chat. That'll help. Anyways.
All right. Read out the poll.
Which was the best episode of season 5 so far? Episode 1, the Romulans be back. Episode 2, The forest walking we do.
Peggy 18.
Episode 3, we be trilling the trill. It was a very trilling episode, yes.
Someone's not showing then.
Go for it. Which gives me a chance to tell you guys to hit like again and make sure that you join the channel if you're able to. There's a join button down there, or head on over to Patreon/Trekyards to support us on a monthly basis over there. It all adds up and makes a huge lick of difference to us. So if you can, please do. Also, super chat. We want to hear your comments, questions, concerns, thoughts, things you noticed about the episode that we might not have. All of the things. We want to hear about it. So super chat in. We do read them all, and they do make a big difference. So if you can help us out, please do. Also, be sure to check out the links down below. There are links to the Teespring and the TeePublic store. We can get yourself some cool Trekyards merch. And you can also do the regular things of making sure that you're subscribed to the channel and click the notification bell icon to all. Share the content around, and just make sure you comment and check out our videos, because we do a lot of breakdown videos and reviews, and we want you guys to be a part of that and enjoy them. So please consider doing all those things. We really appreciate you guys more than you ever realize, and hopefully we can keep doing this for a long time. Yeah, Sam's he's really bummed out right now, so just so you're aware. Ray Ricks, £2, hashtag save lower decks. I feel like we should turn this into a talking about the cancellation stream as opposed to doing the review and save the review for next week. That's what I think we should do. I just said to the peoples, we should change this into a talk about canceling lower decks stream and save the review till next week. Do it on Monday or something.
Well, we're already doing it, and YouTube's already sent a notification, so...
Did they, though? Olivia Julius, $5. Please help Sam's mood. Hit like. Every like gets one Sammy happy point. Sure. We're at 22 happy points.
Now, we could always do an hour on this and then swap the thumbnail and do an hour on the other thing.
No, I don't want to do that.
There we go.
Ozzy, $2, hashtag save lower decks, Fred.
They could bring back Fred.
Yep, I have a feeling they're not going to. So, all the decisions they could make.
Alright, Stuart, so, how many times have you watched this one now then?
2.5.
What did Sylvia think? Or was that tonight's viewing?
Oh, she watched it last night.
What did Sylvia think? If you skip what you think, it's straight to Sylvia, the important.
Yeah.
With the...
She enjoyed it. She kind of likes the Trill thing, and so she also likes Colber, so she thought it was a pretty good episode. Seeing him act a little bit different character was nice. So, yeah.
Okay, so Stuart,
she enjoyed it.
What did you think of season 3, episode 5, episode 3, and in retrospectively checking it out several times, zinging vibes?
I enjoyed it. Like I said in an initial review, I thought it was good. I think it's, compared to the other two, it's, the bottom compared to the other two. Not that it's bad. For Discovery, it's really good. It does have a very Star Trekian vibe to it, so thank goodness for that. But yeah, I enjoyed seeing, it was the same way. Seeing Colber, Wilson Cruz get a chance to act was really nice. I enjoyed the hell out of the bug part just because I've been playing Helldivers 2, and it just kind of made me laugh a little bit. But, and the Tilly and Rayner thing, I thought was great. I really think they're, like I said, the writing for Tilly this season is back on point, and I really appreciate that. So, plus I love Rayner. He's a good new character, and I kind of like that kind of snarkiness in a captain or a commander. So I really appreciate his character, and it's good to see more of that, and kind of have him and Tilly kind of have a little dance there, and kind of, work off each other a little bit, and him learn something from Tilly, I think. So, and that was good. I enjoyed it. How about you?
Did you change your viewing or glean anything new via the rewatch?
Not really, no. No, I didn't. No. I'm trying to think. There's nothing that really stood out differently to me. So, How about you? Did a rewatch change your vibe on it?
Yes. Yeah, notably, I think. Because, and this is what we said last season for this, first watch, you're always hoping for the best, expecting cool things, and especially if there's cool setups, you're excited for the payoffs. There were things in this episode which they could have done significantly cooler, and that's as a fan perspective. It also makes its own things, you know, like you could have done this, could have done that, blah blah. Because they didn't. The first watch disappointed, or at least I was disappointed in things. They just didn't choose the level of, like, they went for okay, not good. Like, second time, you know what's happening, so you have to just appreciate its mediumness. You know, it's not a great episode. It's a fine episode. I don't think there's anything particularly great. Doesn't do anything particularly wrong. There's a lot more. I picked up a lot more on the dialogue subtext stuff the second time, because obviously you know what's going to happen, so it's in there, which you can't get first time because you don't know yet. But it's definitely we went 0.7 forward in the plot, whereas I would love you to have gone 1.0 forward in the plot. I wish you'd cut out some stuff that wasn't as necessary to have a TNG or DS9 flashback, which would actually elevated your show massively. So, again, used by Standard Discovery, it's really good, but it's certainly I think it's the least interesting of the three.
Mm-hmm.
That said, Colber's performance is one of the best things of these 3 episodes in terms of he's very watchable in that role. So every scene with him is elevated by it, which is good. And now we've got the new captain, sort of where he is going to be. There's a certain flow to that which fits better than the previous 2, where he's doing a distinctly different purpose each time. Now he's doing his thing, so that's the settled in factor of that is really nice. But I think it's definitely the least interesting of the 3, and had so many opportunities to make it just better. They didn't take them. They went the cheaper route. You know, nothing to write home about, but pretty good. You know.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
JJ Model Making says 3 episodes in and felt like a filler episode to me. Sorry.
Well, how's it filler? They found the second clue.
Yeah.
That's the definition of non-filler. And the Saru thing's gonna be important in some big way later on. And Adira, they're finishing that arc. So everything there's important to the main story. Yeah. I don't know how it's filler.
That's the other thing I wanted to mention before we moved on. Was another thing I really appreciated about this one was Stamets getting excited about the new discoveries and how this could be like. Now this could be, you know, something you could work on to be. Yeah, I think it was great.
I called out first time as well. It's, you know, working out what the hell he does in the show is difficult.
Yeah, it is.
As in, like, they don't know what to do with him. He's just sort of there saying things. You've now got 3 science characters on the ship, and Burnham can also science. So you've got 4 expositional technobabbly characters, and the spore drive is already going where the dinosaurs. So his role, you know, he was brought in the show to be a very specific thing, and that's been redundant for years now. So having him be literally becoming meaningless in the grand scheme, and yet have him then see this as his way, is an interesting plot in itself. You know, and this time I was able to pick up that actually, amazingly, because the first time I questioned how does Stamets know the technology, and we just said, oh, it's on the datapad. But yeah, they clearly tell you the Romulan just outlined all the technology, like he saved it. What a prick! Why would you hid where it was? We scanned it and you saved all the readings and all the information of what it is. So they explicitly know all the tech of what it can all do. Spoilers, Jesus! Like that. On the I thought first time he was guessing based on like some clever like science reading, but this time it's like, oh no, they know all the technology they can utilize and all the mystery's gone. It's like, we're gonna go find a Genesis device, we're gonna go find reanimation tech. Like, that's odd because it's all like, you know what I mean? Like, it's odd to have all the answers in episode 2 and sold in such a small way. Strange.
Yeah. Ray Ricks, £5. Enjoyed Wilson Cruz this episode. Looked like he was having fun. Again, Tilly's attitude to rank annoyed me. Book and Burnham's good storyline. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And JJ Model says filler, as in you could have just fast forwarded it to the end and seen them get to the next clue. Don't think I missed much in between. But there's the journey is the story. I mean, is all the character beats, is the book and her, it's all iterative. I mean, if you don't want character beats, if you don't want main story, fine, just skip until fine. But then you're gonna miss what the story is by just getting to the story.
Yeah.
It's a sad way of watching things.
FleetPod, $2. The last time I did this, they gave me chips.
Yeah, I didn't get that. What does that mean?
That she had a nice sit down with somebody and she had a snack.
Right. Okay.
Grilling, essentially.
Okay. I don't know.
That's what I took out of it. I don't know.
Not a good line. And Tilly, yeah, Tilly is super season 1 Tilly. Again,
Yeah.
like young, young. I'm guessing dealing with cadets, you know, that were her 3 years ago, has brought her back into the cadet mindset. You know.
Yeah, it could be.
Because boy, is she, what's the word? Court-martialable in her actions. Like, how many times can you not, you know, the permission to speak freely is a very specific thing you ask for and has to be approved. So how many times before you stop doing that can you be put in the brig? Because it's like otherwise, you know, it's like going to an admiral at an aircraft carrier. Permission to tell you what I think, sir. No. Well, fuck you. So, well, you know, can't keep doing that, you know.
Yeah, she's just used to knowing everybody on Discovery and kind of being friends with them. So
yeah, it's fun to see the total freedom of one, and which actually has been massively talked about in the fan base, how unofficial, how unmilitaristic, how unformal, how unserious the crew is. You don't believe them as officers on a Starfleet ship. You just don't, most of them, especially season 1, 2, and 3. And that's a symptom. He's actually a Starfleet officer coming in. So is Vance. So is the rest of the officers, and they're like, what are these? Okay. Yeah.
Olivia, $5. Sam, she had a snack in season 3 when they went to the Federation and was interviewed by the Hollows. Oh, that makes sense.
Okay. Cool. That helps. Doesn't make a good reference particularly, but thanks.
Yeah.
All right. So we start with a space shot, which they do a pretty good job with in this episode. They try.
And we get a walk and talk of talking about their what they know about Maul and Locke. Not much about Locke, but they know that Maul she joined the Courier Guild when she was 17, and
they know quite a lot.
Yeah, was in some lockup for a while for the Emerald Chain.
I think they say 3 times as well, or for 3 years, or 3 times. Like pretty. Although I did find this both times amusing, in that the first line is Burnham says, "So what do we know?" And Colber's line we hear of "Nothing, Captain," is the worst delivery he's ever given. It's so awful. You know what I mean? It's what?
Yeah.
It's after that it's fine, but that's the worst thing he's ever said in this show. God, these screen caps are dark. Holy hell! Look how dark this show is. Jesus Christ! It's not. It's funny because the sets are brighter than like Picard, but for some reason they are darker. The hell?
Yeah, it's an odd choice for sure.
So dark. I intend to lighten them. I'm just gonna lighten everything because it's really bloody dark.
Yeah, but the next scene we get Tilly talking about Trill, 500 million square kilometers, big planet, and where is it in all this? It turns out that the symbols on the puzzle piece were actually Trill patterns, like which are unique to each individual, which is quite interesting. So they find out who it is, and his name is Jinaal Bix.
It's floating CG head man. I thought they hired a character, but it's actually a CG head.
Yeah.
It's a face scan, or just they made that a metahuman, because that's not a real person. That's not a real. But I thought this was great. I mean, this is what we like, procedural stuff, like seeing them work out A, B to C. So I thought they could do that because you'd need to have access to the Trill database, and it isn't just they didn't expect them to be future people to have this search, right? So it is this easy, but you're gonna have multiple things. But yeah, imagine carving onto this rock the precise print of a person that you know. Yeah, it's
Well, it's probably etched with some technology.
Well, you know, I'm saying, you know what I mean. It's like a bold thing to do. But yeah, it's a cool reveal, and it gets you straight into the plot, which you need. You know, they don't just know it; they work for it. I feel good about that.
Anthony Tsu gifted 1 Trekyards membership. So Jamie Somerville, you are now a member.
Jamie,
so
speak now. Speak now, Jamie. Greetings. Welcome to the family of the Trekyards.
Yeah. Then we hear that the new crew member's aboard, and I'm like, who's that? And it's like, oh yeah, it's Rayner.
Mm-hmm. And his tone is so interesting here, because he's been a captain for at least a couple of years, minimum. He significantly out-ages her. He's a different race with different cultures. And yet, despite a demotion, although you could argue he's actually a promotion from retired. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but it is in theory a demotion. He's very respectful. He actually learned human adages, like, that day to be pleasant. That's effort. He is making joke. Like, it's a really nicely... Like, you can tell he's not actually resentful for this. He's just happy to continue to be useful. So it's a really, I think, really good tone here, because he could easily play like a dickhead. He could have even played like Decker in Star Trek TMP, where you can sense the resentment down. Very measured performance, and she instantly treats him like her second in command, which is funny, because last episode they were equals, but she's not dickish either. It's a really interesting chemistry they do and don't have. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought it was a good scene, and I agree with you 100% on that. He could have come off a lot worse. He was trying to make an effort at least, because he's grateful to Burnham for getting on the shtick, but he's also kind of resentful at the same time for not being a captain anymore.
Well, in fairness,
I love how
that
he
isn't
leads
her
off
fault.
with,
That's the baddie's fault.
I love how he like leads off with, "Well, I'm not." She's like, "How are your quarters?" Well, they're not as big as I'm used to. I used to have your job. This is a joke. Just breaking the ice.
That was well edited.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I really thought he was going to say, because it would have made more sense, they're a bit ancient. Because he's now on a ship that's 1,000 years old. Like this, like the crew quarters are insanely different to what he's used to the point of not even being recognisable. I thought it was going to go that route. We've seen the crew quarters; they were so radically different. I just, that I would have preferred as a little time joke, but that's okay.
Yeah. But she's like, I want you to meet with the crew, essentially, get to know them. And he's like, well, peopling isn't exactly or interactions aren't exactly my forte.
And I missed that time.
She's like, it's not a skill set, it's a choice. I'd like to get to, because all I know about you is from what they saw in Kumao, and they're kind of questioning my decision to bring you on. So I want you to show that you're right for the job, so that they can trust you.
And in fairness, it is a huge part of a second officer's job to know and talk to the crew anyway. So that really should have been like a thing on the plan. But he's here to do a job, not to be a second in command. That just happens to be the posting he's got, right?
Yeah.
But he accepts it without a fight. He just needs to be told in a respectful way. He's like, yep, okay. So again, well balanced.
Do you think he's going to do his best job as a first officer? Or do you think he's going to try to take over and step in as captain every once in a while? Because it'll be in his instinct to do so. Because she's a newer captain. She's also from the past. Like, he's been dealing with the burn and all this stuff for years, right? So
I think it's his best. I think it's in his best. It's best if he does that sometimes, if it calls for it. As in, if she's on the world, which is obviously going to be off-world, and he's like, Burnham, you're not up here. I'm reminding the order and saying we'll do this instead. Like, that's a justifiable thing to do because you're up there with the scan. So I think he'll do that. I don't think on the bridge he'll override her, but I think if there was, a split team, he'll override. If you think, I think it's fair enough,
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they're going to butt heads though, at least once or twice with decision making. But and I think she's going to at one point just agree with him, go against her own judgment and just trust his instinct or his
well, you'd like to think
experience.
You'd like to think her arc is to learn from him and as an experienced captain in the future, and his arc for her is to learn how to be more of a people person and break free of. He obviously made a vibe on his other ship, which might work well, but it also got him in a rut of doing anything that needs to be done. Do it, but there's more to everything than that. So, yeah. Yes.
But then we get on the bridge. They're around Trill, and Trill is denying them access to beam down. And I was like, "What? What is going on? Did Maul and Locke get here?" And but no. What's his name? Somebody Z.
Although you missed the Adira and Jet Reno and Stamets scene. That's before that. Because Jet's in the episode's Jet. And they talked about Adira's
That
talking
wasn't
to...
before that.
Yes. I'm scrolling.
No, it's not. That's after the scene. They well, Z comes on board after that scene, but they go to Trill, and then the scene happens. He comes on the bridge. I'm jumping the gun here. Hold on. Oh yeah, so we're getting introduced to the new bridge crew. That's right.
That's, yeah, you went straight to Trill. You went straight to Trill. There you go.
I saw the bridge scene, and then I just assumed.
Okay.
Yeah, so we get introduced to all the new, well, except for Reese, he's there.
And the alien and the black kid. They're from last season.
Linus, yeah. But we get Commander Asha,
and Linus,
Lieutenant Gallo, and Christopher. And you'll meet Washicum and Detmer later. They're not important. You should know that if you've watched our show.
After years of a total lack of brand loyalty.
Yeah.
Why? I'm assuming they're busy on other things, but it's like, just film it a different day. It's you know, just hold until they can. This was a chance for them to give them something, and it feels really disrespectful to actively not include them in these scenes. These random people who, even if they're suddenly amazing, if these two Helm people are the best characters ever, we have 7 episodes of them, and they're not going to be fan favorites after 7, right?
Yeah.
But one's Bajoran, which is great later. But
yeah,
I mean, just piss take. Seriously.
Yeah. And as for this scene with Adira and Jet, I mean, it's good to see Jet back, but, you know, she's concerned about Adira's, you know, Adira's like, do I look good? Do I look okay? And Stamets is like talking about the coffee cup and working on his thing. And Jet actually goes up and says, you know, there's the space dad, your kid kind of thing, because he's been taking care of her, I guess. And he's like, no, there's not a problem, is there? Everything's fine. He goes, well, you know, people change, and this is a weird situation. I thought it was fine.
Yeah,
was it needed? I mean, yeah.
Well, it feels like the Adira and Gray stuff is just like, and we're going to finish their arc, done. Kind of like Gray in last season, like, and we're going to deal with that, and done.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but it was a scene that happened.
Yep.
You know,
that sums it up.
And I, someone who, you know, drinks coffee now and whatever, you wouldn't forget how many coffees you drank, especially as, like, you're all bored all day because Burnham's doing all the missions. You know, Stamps is doing the one thing about the artifact. Like, what's Adira doing every day? You know, you'll remember how many coffees you had. Well, I remember how many cups of coffees I had. Anyway, it's a small thing, but it's not. Adira's a very one-note character, unfortunately, when it comes to not Grey scenes, and that's just kind of the young enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And Jet's very plain in this scene. I don't know if she was having an off day, but it's like just flat.
That's
like
just her delivery. That's just her character.
But in previous seasons, she's been more like dickish in a fun way. This is really flat. I was like, okay, it was weird because Stamets was actually acting far more than she was. Like I felt the disparity. He's like giving it, and she's just like, well, be a dad, yeah. And he's like, what? I'm doing it. Like odd disparity of energy. I don't know if she was having a bad day or something, but it's strange.
Character personally.
But I did get the isotope thing at the end. You know, not everything has a half-life. Good. Got that.
Yeah.
Then they spore in and they talk to the people and they say no.
Yes. Until they answer a riddle. Where does the 4th point? Well, according to the stanza, that was to Beta Z. Correct. You win. Ding, 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 ding.
Cash
I don't know
prize.
anything. Yeah, I don't know anything else about anything you're talking about, but you had to answer that one question. You did it. That was my job. I'm done. Bye.
Peace out. Yeah, I'm gone. Yeah, I like the idea that Trill can say no. As a fun roadblock, I quite liked that, and I liked his tone at the end. Like you say, he has no. I've just been told to do that. I have no idea. That was. It's a fun. This isn't. It's saying this isn't this giant sacred thing that our people have worried about. Now, some lady just... No one ever talks about her or to her, really. But if she has to be talked to, like... And even say, has anybody ever done this? And he's like, no. So they're literally the first people ever to go talk to her about anything this relevant.
Yeah.
But I did, and both times I watched this out loud, as soon as he asked the riddle, but I was like, it's a riddle. I'm like, no shit. Both times I said out loud, no shit. It's like, yeah. No
And
shit.
speaking of roadblocks, we get one at the end as well with the Zenkethi.
Yes. Oh yeah.
That's where they have to go, but they're...
Google Zenkethi.
Yeah, it was mentioned in Deep Space Nine a few times, but we've never seen them, so it'll be interesting to see if we see them next week.
Zenkethi.
Zenkethi, yeah.
It's a great name. I've heard
Fleet Paw, $5. To me, the Tal characters were built up as being super important, but the way Tal is utilized has been disappointing since they were introduced.
Yep. I mean, the thing is, they've got way too many characters.
Yeah.
You know,
that shouldn't surprise you, Fleet Paw. This is Discovery, after all.
But they gave Adira more than any of the bridge crew in this one episode than they've got probably all last season.
You're not wrong. You're
yeah.
absolutely not wrong.
Yeah. But so I like the scene with the Trill thing. It's good. It's fun. I like it. I'm glad he keeps coming back as well. He's a good. He has a weird energy, but it's very, very good. Works super well for the piece. So they beamed down. Great looking cave. It's the season 1 cave design, but now given LED wall treatment. It's great, and it's obviously a specialer cave. Is the inference, not just the standard small one. Cool. Great. Yeah. And they also make a point earlier of saying that this is a Federation world. We have to bring down uniformed officers. And books like Can I Come? So I was thinking, yay, we can have a team. But of course, Colber becomes the guy. Adira stays behind. So the team does in fact just become, once again, Burnham and somebody else. Not this necessarily equates to a science team, but why don't they have a science officer with a scanner following them and helping? Like, obviously you bring a science officer. I mean, look at the last time. Last time you had to have Saru's eyes to get the clue. You'd obviously bring a science officer to help science the science in case there's more science. But no.
Whether it be Tilly or Stamets.
Tilly or Stamets.
Even Jet would have been nice.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Jet and Tilly. Then you could science and engineering. Once again, it's just odd. Every episode is odd.
Odd is a good choice of words.
Yes.
But they talk about the ritual and how they're going to have to. They can't use one of the joined hosts. They need somebody else. And I thought Burnham was going to be like, oh, it has to be me, but no, Colber steps in and does it, and I think that's fine.
That's great. Yeah.
I think honestly, I personally think that if it was season 1 or 2, it would have been Burnham was gung ho to do it. She's all new experiences, and she can only trust herself with things, and da 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 da. But.
Whereas I think it wouldn't have been Burnham because they need her to be the lead in the show. They need her to be on screen being Burnham. So they wouldn't have removed her from the equation.
Let us know in the chat, guys. Do you think in the first season or 2 it would have been Burnham that insisted that Jinaal take her body? Or do you think that they wouldn't have done that?
Or just say anything. I'll talk to you guys. Now, I will say, especially in this shot, the LED wall's very visibly two-dimensional. Wides are always tricky for the LED wall because there's no implied depth. Like, that looks incredibly fake. Like, you can tell everything past the rocks is just one line. It's still great they're doing it. Like, still commend them. But it's like, that's not fooling anybody. Because things have depth. Things don't stop at one depth after the foreground depth. But every other shot is great. It's just that one is like, don't do wides. That's why I don't do wides. They don't work as well. But Gray is there, doing the job. And I like the Trill lady because she says, and I didn't catch the first time, says, the information you seek in here, cool. Well, I guess in the belly, but in this body. And that scientist guy deliberately joined with a Trill symbiont, got that as a thing, so that message could be continued. He wasn't meant to be a Trill host, because they say that earlier on as a very rare thing. He got himself into a host program to make sure it stayed. Because they say that that's very rare, which I appreciate, because it should be quite rare. So that was a fun little line I didn't quite...
Yeah, but the next scene is we get to see Saru arranging his new apartment, and T'Rina brings him a plant. Yay!
And they talk about their lovely.
Yes. Yeah, they talk about their engagement announcement going out, and yeah. It's fine. I love how he's like kind of opposed to the handsome and erudite Captain Saru. Erudite means like very knowledgeable and wise. So, but she's like, no, it's accurate. He's like, all right, fine, we'll send it out then. And we meet the assistant, Mr. Duvin, who gives Saru a bit of a side eye at first. And I was like, oh, what's this going to be about? But we do find out it's not as sinister as I first thought, but
yes. You know, I thought in the first couple of Saru and T'Rina scenes, this is such a unique situation. Betrothed ambassador who's sort of emotionally unintelligent because he's still quite young, comparative, and president of a planet with all political problems, presumably significantly older than him because you wouldn't be that high rank without being older. Engaged, different species, unemotional, and like that. You wouldn't think they were engaged in most scenes, but there's a certain warmth which I think it's the actors doing it, because I don't think in season 3 this was meant to be a thing. I think it's the actors that did something on screen that was just like, oh, we called it out. I don't think you're gonna plan a 3-year love arc with these two randomly, but I think the actors sort of brought it about in their performance. So it's very unique. You know, they don't feel engaged, but there is something still there. Yeah, the and again, Vulcans are always tricky. Well, they could be Roman, I suppose, but neither here nor there. Like, being dickish, you can easily be in a Vulcan, just be a bit extra cold. But yeah, the side eye, like you said, that's what he was doing. But it's not racism, it's Saru, it's actual political strategicness. You know, he's looking after his client and his planet and stuff. Luckily, they bounce out reasonably well later.
And Dave throws in £2 and says they use an Earth date on Trill instead of a star date. Do they? Must have missed that.
It's Thursday the 12th. What? Nothing. But anyway, I like Saru's outfit. Gonna go do politics. Then we get more of Rayner. And I'm once again. I love the orthos of the ship. Like, but if only we'd had this in our review of the episode ship, because it's very, very clear the view. Oh, and in fact, if I reverse it, I'll be able to see the data.
Well, we'll have it for more detailed breakdown later.
Yes.
So save that. No, but this talk between Tilly and Rayner,
this is
like,
unknown for everything.
Oh, yeah.
So,
is good because Tilly's like, it's Captain's orders that you do this, and he's like, well, I can walk and chew gum at the same time. You have them come to me while I'm working, and they get the 5 minutes each. And yeah, everybody that's on duty, everybody that's currently on duty. Actually, what does he say? Active duty roster introductions. So,
and it is a small crew, assuming they kept the original complement. So that's 150, I believe. I believe it's quite a small ship. Yeah, and this is an interesting scene because the energy changed at the episode till he starts being, hey, I'm gonna take you around to meet everybody, which is fair. But then he points out, well, I'm busy doing the job I was brought to do. If you bring them all here, we can save time, effort, and it's like fair.
Kill two birds with one stone.
That's absolutely a command decision. I think because Tilly's bored, like the rest of the crew are bored, but he's busy. you feel that difference which is fair, and he says it in a fair way. But Tilly's face, like, you don't have to be a body language expert to guess she doesn't like him straight away. She's not good at hiding her emotions. Imagine if this was like
comfortable with him. She probably feels like he's as much like Lorca, and she has this bad taste in her mouth.
I hope that's brought up. That's perfect. Yeah. Oh, that'd be great. Versus, the opposite, Pike, like, I'm really personable and nice. Everyone likes me. Love that.
Yeah, she did like Pike.
She did like Pike.
They got along very well.
But yeah, her faces are pretty uncomfortable. If he was, imagine Picard and Troy being like, she's like, what are you doing? What? Don't, calm down. She's so damn young, Stuart. She's probably like 25 still. God.
Yeah.
Then we get the ritual. No, we don't. We do not get the
We did get the ritual.
We do, but I like this little scene. Is like, are you busy? Nah, I just finished. Cook the fire. Like, it's such a busy work sort of like moment. Like, oh, you have to do something before the scene begins. And then we get a awkward but not super awkward, very, very plain scene again. There's not a lot here. They're fine. Well, I can definitely tell that Gray does not fancy Adira anymore, really. In second watch, it's far more one-sided than I think the first watch. At least that's how I took it. That Gray's, alive, hasn't been alive for a long time, found the existence, clearly mildly famous because of it, like someone notable, and achieving what they want. And Adira's like, I'm holding on to this. And I think Gray's... I almost thought at the end they're going to say Gray had a new boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. And that'd be the awkward news. Like, it had that much... Sorry. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you think that when you watch any time, either time?
Did not think that at all, no. Not at all. I just thought it was like a... Because this is where Adira's like, can I meet some of your friends here? Can I see your quarters? Can we, you can show me around?
Yeah, yeah.
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 Well, it's just, that's how Gray's always been.
No,
Gray's never been.
Yeah.
So I didn't think anything of it.
But I mean, yeah. Watch that scene again with that in your mindset. I think you'll see what I mean.
I did the second time, and
okay.
I kind of maybe, yeah, but Gray's always kind of been that kind of delivery, so...
I just mean, like, Gray knows it's over. Because there's always somebody in the relationship that's more over. Gray's the one that's already moving on in their mind. Adira isn't, and you can feel it when you know. I just think that's what I see.
I also got a sense of relief from Adira later when that kind of happened.
Oh, I don't know.
There's some hesitance, and there was some like oof, and then there's also the little gleam of like, oh, thank God I don't have to start this conversation kind of thing. So, but yeah, then we get the transference,
and that's where the Colber visual came from. Or already worked that out.
First thing he asks what year it is, 3191, and he's like, "Oof, I love what you do with the new uniforms. They're so formal. Do you mind if I?" And he's like, "No." So he undoes his.
It's funny because I think they're less formal than the Greys of First Contact, with the because it's giant.
Depends on your definition of formal, but okay, yeah.
Well, in the sense that they're giant, multicolored, like the First Contact are militaristic grey with single tone.
Stiff collar, and they look more they look like a formal.
But they're giant, bright colours with a stripe in them. Like cut, I agree with you, but I think if you put them side by side, one you think a formal military wear, the other think a cosplay.
But cut is an interesting choice because I didn't realize this. I know that they're asymmetrical in the front. I thought they went around straight along the back. Later, when we see them walking in the quarry, if you look at Colber's, it's asymmetrical on the back as well, which is a bad choice in my opinion. If you're gonna do it on the front, just have it go all the way like around, like one cut. I don't know. That's the first time I noticed that. So,
okay, I gotta pop downstairs for a second, guys. Super chips, thoughts, comments, and questions. I'll be back in a moment.
Fleet Paw. $5. I thought reassociation was taboo on Trill. Wouldn't this be reassociation, something that would cause Tal to be shunned from Trill society? Don't know. That's a very good question. I'm not familiar with the politics and how that works exactly, so I couldn't tell you, sir. But interesting observation. But yeah, so hit the like button, guys. There's 53 of you here right now and 41 likes. Let's try to get those likes up to 50. And by all means, super chat in. We do want to hear your thoughts on this. It all helps. It's these Discovery reviews don't seem to do very well. I mean, it kind of says something, but if you guys are enjoying us or enjoying the talk about it, let us know. We do want to read your comments if we can, so please help us out. But yeah, lower decks. Yeah, we already kind of talked about that a little bit. Dan Rarbc. Isn't it Lorca's old room as well? Possibly. I don't know 100% about that. Like his menagerie room that he had, like the Gorn skeleton and stuff, which was, by the way, a correct Gorn skeleton. Yeah, I mean, maybe it is, and that would definitely bring up some feelings of like, this guy reminds me of a lot of Lorca, and I think that's already been referred to a little bit in episode 1, where Burnham says, I haven't hated someone that much in 930 years. I could assume she was only talking about Lorca because, And that was in reference to Rayner, so who knows? They did that ritual in DS9 twice, yes. A lot of changes in 900 years, yeah. Yeah, that's going back to Fleet Pause thing. 100%. Yeah, a lot can happen in 800 years, so. Yeah. And again, another thank you to Anthony for gifting a membership. I really appreciate that. So, wait, no, once, where other crew members took on the personalities of the Dax host. The other was the serial killer episode. Yes. I think there were different. Yeah, the serial killer one. Okay, or maybe there was one where the guy basically stole the Dax symbiote and put it himself. I don't know if that's one you're thinking of, maybe, as well, but that's a different thing altogether. Remember, 20 words or less. Exactly. I watched interviews about the menagerie room. He was guest 3-line dialogue star back then in season 1. Vlog actor. Tezangari, the TR-116 episode was a different way to communicate with the serial killer Dax. You mentioned menagerie room was incorrect due to Gorn being discovered later. Yeah, well, we pointed that out too. That there's no way that they would know about the Gorn. I mean, could be that Lorca was special ops or something, and he did have knowledge of the Gorn. That's why he had a Gorn skeleton. But anyway, we talked about that at the time.
I'm back.
Oh, goody.
Thanks. Oh, thanks. But yeah, Colber's great. He's fun in this.
Indeed.
He's got like a gravelly accent, kind of, but not. It's a choice he made. I'm guessing he probably resented it, like middle of filming, said to keep going, but he kept going. It's good. Yeah.
I like that he called it like, ooh, this guy must work out. Because if you follow Wilson Cruz's social media, he likes to post workout pictures and stuff, and he's pretty jacked. So he must have had fun saying that. So.
Is it a 7-pack? 10-pack? I was a fat fuck in the past. Now I'm wow. Yeah. and it's just a really fun, like, they knew what they were doing with that straight away. I want to go for a nice long walk. We could beam there. Don't know the coordinates, but I know the route. Like, he's having fun. He's really having fun, though.
I mean, if I had been dead 800 years,
yeah.
I'd want to stretch my legs and enjoy what I could.
You've got a whole lifetime. I've got a few hours. Like, I would not be surprised if
that was a good line.
In 5 years, he says that's his favorite episode. He's got to do something, like properly do something, because it works, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must be fun to be an actor and play those kind of roles, like just off your character.
Which then makes you sad when they do not do much, because it's like, well, we could do fun things. But yeah, lovely shot of Starfleet Command. Cool. This is Noble, NCC 926002. Jesus. And we get a mildly interesting, briefing with some aliens, the new TNG redo alien, which is great.
Sela, yeah.
Yeah.
Good makeup.
It's great. It could be CG for how detailed it is. They put a lot of time into that. I was wondering the second time I watched this where, because Saru explicitly said, I've got some controversial things to say in this meeting. He didn't, though.
Well, we probably didn't see the whole thing, maybe. I don't know.
Sure, but that was his one thing, and this is the scene that follows. It was just such a different scene than I was expecting. It's good, it's fine. It's just like, oh, okay, didn't quite. And why is I assume why is the Vulcan president there? If Vulcan's not involved, I guess she might be like part of the Council for Space Affairs or something, like a subcommittee.
Yeah, because they had to vote, and so they needed a show of people there from different factions.
Because I think because again, the first thing he said, I'm dealing with a group from my area. It's fine.
Yeah.
But yes, lots of politics here.
Dave says, if this is the full size of the Federation, where's Earth? Well, we found out in season 3, Earth is not a member of the Federation. I mean, I think it rejoined at the end of season 3.
Well, it was in talks. I think that was the point of it. Like, we're going to move forward, but we're not there yet. Yeah.
Yeah, but it hadn't been the home of Starfleet for a long time.
Like 80 years, yeah.
Yeah, so. But yeah, she votes with him, and that raises concerns, I guess. So the assistant talks to Saru and basically says, this is going to cause problems with the Vulcan purists. They're going to, wonder if her political views are straight right now, essentially. Because he's like, she voted with you, and Saru's like, no, she did not vote with me. She voted according to her own values. And the other guy says, well, in politics, appearances matter, and it seems like if you guys announce your announcement or your engagement, they might think that she's voting with you. Anyway, that's basically the gist of the conversation, and to put off the announcement of the thing until after the talks.
And it's reasonably well handled. He's just doing it to help putting his point forward and trying to help the team. I mean, they know they've got a whole planet of 2 different cultures, which are one species, 2 cultures to deal with. It's a big thing. And, he's being respectful. He even says, you're so emotionful that you'll get it. Which is a lovely backhanded compliment, like, in your face. Yeah. Like, oh, you're so emotionally unstable. Hit. You'll get what I'm saying. Thanks, mate.
Notice, he had a very Enterprise Vulcan thing going on, where they're kind of assholes.
Yeah, just younger. Because a lot of the time we get Gary Graham.
Yeah.
But yeah, easy. And then we get... This works to me better as well the second time. Because you know exactly what he's doing. The character.
Yes.
And so the boringness of the... Like, not literally boring, but like the plainness of the quarry. I'm looking for all the subtext in Colber's performance, and I do find some, which I appreciate the second time. Yeah.
And we learn about the Intronoc, carnivorous quadruped. And I like how they look, this thing, it's the fresh kill. It doesn't look fresh at all. Looks like it's been there for like a month. It's kind of half mummified and I don't know. Anyway, it's fine. Yeah. But yeah, this is where he says, I want to make sure that you guys are, that it's the right time, the right people have found it, blah, blah, blah. And we hear about the 6 scientists in secret. There's him, Dr. Velnick, and 4 others. And this is where I'm like, flashback. Yeah. Don't ask me their names. I won't tell you. But yeah, no, we find out too that they found the progenitor tech, and one of their team tried to activate it, died, and so they decided to hide it and make sure the time was right. Time of peace. Is it peaceful? Book's like, oh yeah, we're at peace, and she's like, well,
we're
it's not linear.
Not at peace.
Yeah, peace isn't like linear, but yeah.
It's like someone's always at war. That's kind of just the nature of living, unfortunately. But
and they also mentioned the Dominion War here. It was the Dominion War. Nobody trusted anybody, so we thought we'd hide this.
And that was said like such a... Well, obviously, like the changelings, we couldn't... And this, of course, in both watches, second time was less jarring. First watch, and as I predicted to you last time, obviously, Stuart, to win giant brownie points, they would show the old characters. Now, I got excited early on when Colber says he knew the guy, like implying the way he talked to Burnham, he was also Starfleet. That was implied. So I thought, great, okay. I didn't know what era they were going to come from, so fine. But Dominion War, really exciting. So obviously, Stuart, they could have hired the CG face man from the start, which I thought was originally a face. It's just a CG, but whatever. Him, the Trill guy, 4 other scientist actors. Get them in TNG Greys or DS9 Greys, LED wall set, or build a few flat panels. It's not hard to build. Come on, guys. and tell. This could have been the episode where they start weekly flashbacks to the Dominion War, and even if he tells us the entire story, to then see it for the emotional perspective of those characters, and then you could use, because obviously they're in Star Trek, they could have a shot where, you know, a DS9 war battle happens and they're hearing dialogue from Cisco. Like, they could really play into that and really bring this visceral, like, well, we need, what if we could do like the Baku? Yeah, like Baku. You know, wow, Picard just found this meaning of life stuff. We don't need the information tech. Oh no, we can't. It could have been such a visceral, like with last year with the guy from Riser, right? They did that and it worked quite well most of the time. And they could have, you know, so the money to spend on making the grey uniforms of the set would be split over the episodes. Cheap, cheerful, easy. What do we get? A $15 explanation, which, while good, they missed the biggest trick.
I really thought they were leading up to a flashback with the way he was talking about the 6 scientists, and yeah, they did miss out on it, in my opinion. It would have been beautiful, but
it would have been obvious. It's obvious, and it would have made the episode just raise, and then every episode you could have had this giant canon connection. But yeah, I mean, you still visualize it, of course, but it has an abstractness. Yeah, it was a shame, but he tried to do his best with the piece.
And Pat McNeil says, wouldn't the Trill already know what year it is? He's still in that host living in current time. Yes, but it's an 800-year-old personality that is being revived. There's a lot of centuries to wade through there memory-wise. So he might not be as in sync with the current hosts. He might be more of a repressed one. It's hard to say, but yeah.
I think you could debate either way.
Yes, you could.
Because remember, they're not literally living consciousnesses. They are memory engrams, part of a whole. They're not full. They're not all living and thinking all the time. You can trigger that, but that's not. So I'm fine to say that he wasn't quite cogent enough to know the date.
Mm-hmm.
Especially 800 of not cogent enough to know the date. I'm guessing every time a host dies and brings a new personality, they become more dilute or more filled with stuff. Yeah. So I'm absolutely fine with him not being fully aware. I think that's
plus fine. The transference could just be confusing and just like waking up from like a bad night's sleep. Your brain's not active yet. So
yeah, like you could argue either way. Same thing with like Colber. You could argue that maybe Colber's memories influenced him, but I don't think he ever knew Colber's brain. You know, he overrode and took over. It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, it's a good speech though. I love the Dominion War connection, of course. I love the fact that Starfleet, or the president, he pulled together scientists for a secret assignment. Had to be after the Romulans during the war, so it's a very limited time. And what I love most about it is that means that the
the preservers and the progenitors are kind of the same thing. Preservers spread the seed throughout the galaxy as well, which is mentioned a few times. So,
well, they might be. That might be an interesting reveal, but yeah, progenitors.
Because remember, and I mentioned this last night on my live. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but in season 1 of Discovery, we saw a preserver obelisk.
We did. That was great.
So I don't know if they're going to tie that all together somehow.
I like them being separate, but
I do too.
Or they could be a descendant to them. Maybe the progenitors started, the preservers try to save the work.
Sure.
Like the Vulcans and Romulans, where they split off into the. Anyway, maybe the preservers have the head ridges, the progenitors don't. Anyway, my favourite thing about this, though, apart from the just fun canon connection, is that the fact that they're clever scientists, right? But they're going to be anthropologist majors. They're not going to be like, you're not going to have an astrophysicist for this exact, you know what I mean? They're not going to be like that sort of scientist per se. So those guys, those gals, those scientists, they were able to find information in their lifetime in the war after the Romulans became friends. So that's within a year, they made the breakthrough, they traveled to it, they found it. So it's in Federation space. It's in the Alpha or Beta quadrant because they can only travel at warp and back. So it radically goes from being outside the galaxy or even Shakari. They can't put it there now, unfortunately, because you can't, unless they make the joke you can get there, but you can't get Central Galaxy in that one day. You can't. So they've removed that from play. But it's in travelable distance, and that level of tech can access it. So that grounds it thoroughly, which I like.
Yes.
And it might not seem important, but it makes it a more simple story. We don't need that giant... We have to get through the Great Barrier scene. Like, that. You don't need that anymore, which I kind of like.
I was just going to say, I kind of like the idea that maybe it's only the Discovery that can do it because of the spore jump drive. Like, something happened to get all that stuff put away behind this thing, but...
I mean, they could have done something to double hide it. Yeah. But then we get the first of the the discussions.
Reese. Somebody we actually know.
Who looks happy to be there. I liked his vibe. I wish he had more than 22 words.
Well, it's funny because we met him in Vegas, him and Bryce, and it was Bryce, the other guy, who knew about Trekyards. This guy, he's like, Trekyards? And Bryce's like, yeah, remember? Because I guess they had watched it. He had kind of forgotten. But it's funny that he here says he's a real shiphead.
Yes. Loves
the Crossfield class, but something about the curves of a 23rd century Connie just gets me. I love it. He's a perfect candidate to watch Trekyards. So, and we meet all the other people, and nobody cares. I mean, the only cool one was Linus talking about his 3 clutches of eggs. But yeah,
it's so weird.
And we hear that Nielsen sent off to a new post on Voyager. So
I'm guessing the actress didn't want to return because she got no lines.
Maybe.
I mean, because you can ask not to return,
And this guy, the same guy that says that, also says that he's got a pet Tribble, which we saw in the last episode, climbing a wall, fell down, but it's neutered, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's a good little scene. It could have been a ton better, as in, if they'd had more crew, made it more quick fire, had more dialogue, made it a bit more intercutty, like actually we had some. I'm glad to see the Doctor back, but I wish we'd seen everybody and give them all a full, say 40 words, like really, because they'd have a moment,
Yeah.
But I like the Bajoran lady. I thought she was fun, and I mean not fun. She was dark, but I liked the performance. I liked seeing the Doctor back. That was nice. I also like the captain's, the commander's reaction. He's obviously taking it all in because he knows everything. He's obviously read everyone's files. He knows them, technically. But it's a very interesting question. Like, you know that I know who you are, and
So tell me something I don't know.
So tell me, and it's a test because it's what are they choosing to tell him? What are they? And you'd imagine that very quickly, word of mouth would spread that he's asking people for, what do you not know? Because as soon as you come off the bridge, you say, what does he want? I got 20 words. Like, that would spread, and suddenly they'd get more interesting answers. But like, what do you choose? Like, if you said, it's like if you have a first date with somebody and you can only say one thing first, what do you do? Well, it tells you something genuine about them, and good for the Connie guy.
Yeah,
it's a really good exercise because 155 people, whatever, an hour each, you're burning through so much time. What if the galaxy gets destroyed in the meantime? I think he's a very smart captain in this regard, and he's never mean here.
Yeah. I love how he says to Tilly, too, like, she's like, 30 seconds isn't enough time. He's like, the meetings are exactly as long as they need to be, Lieutenant.
Yeah. She does not like that.
And then she's like, I'll send in Commander Washington. And I'm like, cool. And we never see that, so it's fine.
But again, her faces are so like, screw you, I hate you. She's really disrespectful. Like, come on. I know you're 20 and you're a cadet at heart, but be a bit more respectful.
Well, she's a lieutenant, but...
yeah. And I was like, I would have given him... Because this is his first day, right? She's not even giving him a week. She's not even giving him a day to see how he acts. Already being mean to him. It's very
that's why I think she's giving off Lorca vibes to her, and she just doesn't trust him.
Yeah, no, I really like that. That really helps that, I think. It takes away... I think you're right. I think it takes away all of the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. All she sees is direct actions and none of the strategy and technical and professionalism behind it. She's just seeing you're not friendly. It's like, well, he's just met you all. He's learning who you are his own way first. But then we get the famous Adira and Gray scene.
The breakup scene.
Yeah. I didn't know it was going to be a breakup the first time. The second time makes a ton of sense. I get all the body language from the second version knowing. And it's kind of uncomfortable. Adira doesn't know how to be anything else apart from what they want to be, and Gray's living a new life. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, not much else to say there, except there is some good acting, like, I think, anyway, from Adira. Goes from like nervous to like heartbroken to like kind of relieved to back to heartbroken. There's a lot going on in that performance. Gray, I thought, was a little more flat. Like, I'm always going to be here for you, always be a friend. It's one of those situations, and I thought that was going to be the end of it. It does kind of pay off at the end where Gray's talking about relationships and how it's a journey and all that, and then they hold hands. That was kind of nice, a nice touch that I didn't expect, because I thought that's the whole let's be friends talk, and then you never talk to them again. you know, you're not evil or embittered, I guess, but you never stay friends, right? So
And that's
this
what
might be different though.
And that's I agree with you about flat, because Gray's already passed it in their mind.
Yeah,
that's the difference in energy here.
Well, Gray's found like inner peace with the Trill.
Yeah,
like, this is like a monk kind of lifestyle.
A good job, good responsibility,
meditation.
I'm respected.
Yeah. I did like the point of I wouldn't ask you to leave your anytime on Discovery. Like, just like you wouldn't ask me to leave here. It's like, oh yeah, you're actually right. That was a real moment.
I thought that was kind of genius. There's a pause, and it was like, no.
Yeah.
It's like half yes.
Yeah.
It's 100% half yes. They're like, actually, I love you that much. I maybe would, but it's like every line's like breaking the heart. But like, it's a very boring classic breakup.
Yeah.
Like it's almost to a fault. But the fact that we've said that many things about it shows they kind of had layers to it. Even if the layers are every other teen drama, they gave it the time to kind of end the arc. Like, I don't see Gray returning. I don't see Adira being that meaningful from now on. I think that's them starting and ending an arc, which is nice, right? They got to do full circle in something. I don't need to see any more of either of them in a meaningful way. I've seen the arc, right? In a good way.
Yeah, I think it was fine. It was the least important. It was the least enjoyable part of the episode for me, because I wasn't invested.
But not feels bad just because it's just plot. It's an F plot. It's an L plot. It's over.
Yeah.
But now the first of the day to night.
Oh yes.
Which is a famous trope, and what I mean by that is, especially on nowadays cameras, when you can film something where you capture all the brights, all the darks, everything in between, where you lower the highlights and you change the levels so it makes it look darker. It's easy to do. I did it twice. The problem is, and it's overcast, which does help. Problem is, in this shot, you can see the blue sky past the clouds to the top, and your brain still can see it's meant to be blue because they can't remove all the color. And even at the end, when it's nighttime, you can see the blue sky, because there's a real difference between blue lit sky and night sky. They don't like
make a point.
Yeah,
they do make a point later when they finish off all this stuff. But you see the moon, and then it's a pan down. It's like, this is all moonlight, guys.
But you can see the sun. You can see the blue sky around it. It's not.
I know.
It's much harder to shoot at night. It sucks. I'm not going to bitch at them for it, but it is. It's very clearly you can see the daylight past the clouds. Yeah. So it's slightly amusing.
But here we find out that they created the path so that somebody was worthy would be able to follow it.
Can't be skipping. Or because Burnham has, like, we could just go now, like, or tell us where the thing is, and he's like, no. The whole point of doing this is to do it. Don't you get it? Like, I really liked that. That was a nice beat.
Yeah, and then the whole, like, I do know that the Federation is driven by a will to do good. Most sentient beings are. To which his rebuttal was, there are plenty that would disagree with that. Because there's good and bad, and if this thing falls into the wrong hands, that's bad. But yeah, no, it's a good talk. Yeah. And then we get the carving in the rock, and I built a little thing underneath that. You'll have to go down there to get the hidden artifact puzzle piece. And then we get the cloaking bugs.
Yeah.
Pretty cool visual effect, honestly. So
they were so much better than what we thought from the trailer. Oh god, the day for night later is so obvious.
I know.
Like I can literally see. It's not how clouds work.
Yeah.
And the bugs
But Burnham's insistent.
They're very much like the return
sorry.
Stargate. They feel like a very video game villain. And it's the classic thing of, we don't want to spend more than 10k on the effects. What can we do? Cloaking! It's like,
yeah.
Raise. No, wait, we can't spend it. Not a raise, pat on the back. Thanks. But it's fine.
Yeah, but Burnham's insistent that they get the piece tonight. And he's like, you can't get it tonight. You're going to have to wait because these things are here and you're going to risk your lives for no reason. So he takes off.
Stanley's.
Jinaal books it because he's like, if I die in this body, so does your friend. So,
which is nice that he actually isn't. He's doing the thing he's trying to do, which is give them a trick.
Yeah.
But I liked at first watch saying he values the host and the integrity of the process more than the life-changing universe tech. I liked that. That's not quite what he's doing, but it's funny. I just said a second ago the cheapness of doing the cloaked effects. Yet the way the bomb bug bite hits rocks is so beautifully expensive looking and clever.
Yeah, it was really good.
Like, it's a fuck ton of CG every time. What the hell is happening? That's all fake. None of that happened. That's really good. It's really impressive, expensive shots they're not shy of doing.
And I do like that they remembered that Book had a power because she's like, communicate with them. Well, it's a two-way thing, and they're not letting me in. Can you get anything? Yeah, it's pissed off. So at least they did try to communicate initially. I do like that.
It's quite logical, and they don't try and shoot it. Can I just say that they never even start a process of shooting it, because you could have easily had pew pew. Oh, its armor's resistant. They never once shoot at it. So that's a lovely note, because season 1 they did, right? The tardigrade, they literally did try and shoot it. So I Burnham's good in this episode.
That's true.
And they know what they're doing. Right, give me 1 second.
Yeah. So guys, go vote on the poll if you haven't already, and hit that like button. We were 1 like away from 50 likes. One person can get that for us. We'd appreciate that. Super chat in any thoughts you have. At the end, we're going to ask you guys if you want to super chat in for your score out of 10 for this episode. We are ish near the end. So yeah, anyway, I really love this scene personally. I'm going to say this because Sam's not here. He doesn't quite understand. I've been playing Helldivers 2. This scene is just Helldivers 2. There are bugs that can cloak, called stalkers, in that game. So you see them like moving around. They're invisible, but then they just pounce on you. And a lot of bugs shoot like acid on you. So this is very reminiscent of that. And even when they get the puzzle piece, it's like, got a sample. So anyway.
Okay, question.
Yes.
How do you feel when you actually remove these creatures from the idea of just being a fun sci-fi alien to what these things are on Trill, and all predators, like, ecosystems are developed over thousands, millions of years. What are these things hunting? What are they feeding on? How are the Trill surviving? This thing is a cloaking, flying, spike shooting thing. Shit. Mm-hmm. That's an apex. I mean, that puts the alien from Alien to shame. You know, flying, go, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm fine with it personally. I mean, every planet, every ecosystem has its top predator. It's just something you leave alone. It's in its own ecosystem kind of thing.
And they even say these are from 800 years ago. This is not like this evolved over time. This has been around.
The other thing, it's like, this 800 years ago, you're just hoping that this is still their natural, that they didn't go extinct. That. There's a lot to take in with that 800-year thing, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't quite know if he thought the egg would be there, because that seems ridiculous. But also, you can imagine if it's like that's the primary. Well, I know in the world there are zones. Is it beavers? The guys that swim like hundreds of miles to the same location every year. It's like ridiculously on point.
Salmon.
Well, yeah. So that like they would. So there are probably some species he's probably picked on purpose. But like. That means the Trill in primeval times had to fight cloaking, flying, shooting beasts. I'm kind of hoping and assuming they're on some weird continent, but they're in walking distance from a Trill cave. Why are you putting your sacred caves underground with a goddamn flying beast? And no one warned them. They didn't bring Trill escorts. There's no like set, here's a dart gun for them, here's a phaser for them. They're so close to the Trill special sacred grounds. They're gonna kill Zoe Trill.
Yeah.
But don't worry,
Yeah.
Stuart. They've got special. They're going against Locke and Darth Maul, so these things are no problem, right? I'll say it later. It's just funny when you think about how amazingly effective these are. Sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, but this whole thing with hiding the puzzle piece there, it just and hope like he didn't know how long it was going to take.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But 800 years later, like that rock not being destroyed by something or eroded.
Yeah.
Still having that carving on it.
Yeah.
Still having the puzzle piece hidden under a few loose rocks. Like seriously, 800 years.
And they
what about
entirely
the development
ignored
of the planet?
showing where that was exactly. Yeah, that was a bit daft. Yeah, no, indeed. Like it would have been actually kind of fun if this whole thing happened and then it's not under the rock. They go out. And he's like, "So did you find it? No, it's not there. What? Because it's been moved. It's been destroyed. It's been whatever." That would have been kind of a fun little twist.
Somebody's got it on their mantle. They found it. Look at this ancient artifact. Cool. Don't know what it is, but
possibly you could argue that the Trill went and checked on it every 50 years or something. The host, and they know how to deal with the creatures, so therefore they're able to check on it every once in a while.
Well, I assume that this is a hatching ground, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
So they only hatch there like once every couple months or something.
So you go around
or a certain time of year. So you go when they're not there. Yeah. But still, that doesn't make a good defense to protect the puzzle piece.
But it's better than nothing. And like you said, they were not expecting it hundreds of years. I mean, you can't predict. Well, not even hundreds, almost a century. You know, kind of something astounding.
But we get some interesting fighting here, even like transporting in midair to like move Burnham.
But Stuart,
they transport multiple times.
But Stuart, they can't transport because the rocks. They're too close to the rocks.
Oh, it's only when they're close to the rocks.
But they beams onto rocks and off rocks.
I know. There's only the rocks that they're between. That's So I thought the same thing during that scene. It's like Jesus Christ.
But I actually loved the idea that when the original host people had to deal with these creatures, they couldn't just beam away. If you can suddenly, like, they can't get you then. Like, it's a very effective way of saying peekaboo, not, whatever, whack-a-mole. It was a decent fight for sure, and I was certainly obviously guessed Burnham would be hit. That was all logical and.
Now, the Stanleys points out the pyramids of Giza are several thousand years old. Yes, and they're huge stone monuments. This is in a goddamn rock quarry, and he had it hidden under some loose rocks. And it's one rock in the center as well that's carved that they were looking at. So to assume that no progression of the society would happen where they might need space to build apartment complexes or, it all seems very coincidence for me, but whatever.
Yeah, because you could very easily... one of the creatures could hit it.
Yeah, or it could get hit by a meteorite, or
because there's not much in the world in Egypt that's going to hit the pyramids and destroy them. How many camels are really that powerful enough to bash? It's not really a problem in the same way. In the same way, yeah, it's fine.
Oh, next scene we get Stamets come in. He's been working on the Romulan tricorder
so I'm
data.
Late.
And Rayner's like, as long as it's mission critical, you have as many words as you like.
I love how he says that. It's very characterful, and he waits and he listens, and it's yeah.
So he's like, I hadn't accounted for half-life. The progenitor's technology is several billion years old. So of course that results in significant decay of isotopes. Blah, blah, blah.
Well, I'm not sure what was decaying. Because he's getting data from a Romulan thing. So what is he? How did that crack?
I was talking about the progenitor's tech.
Well, exactly, but how would that? I mean, there's a slight disconnect of things they were saying. But
the Romulan tricorder would have not 800-year-old data on it for the same artifact. Would make sense, and then comparing the puzzle piece now, you'd see the breakdown in the isotopes, so you'd know what the breakdown, what the half-life would be.
So you're saying the
Calculate
800
that.
years affected all the readings. So even though if he had the readings, they didn't make sense until you add the drift factor.
Yes.
But then at 800 years to 3 billion should be this. But
Well,
then
mathematically you can figure it out.
Yeah.
So, but he says, yeah, I don't fully understand it yet, but the technology is, well, it could have incredible applications. Design new life forms, accelerate evolution, modify ecosystems, and if it can create life, then in theory it might be possible to bring back the dead, reanimate dead organisms.
Yes.
And Rayner says that sounds like it'd be very dangerous in the wrong hands.
Or the right hand's really good. I love that. That's a nice back and forth there.
Oh yeah, Stamets is like, but it could, imagine what it could do in the right hands.
Like us.
Like,
hint, 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 hint.
And then he says it could make even the spore drive discovery inconsequential by comparison.
That was such a unique way of saying that as well.
Yeah.
I didn't expect him to be. He's not poo-pooing his own tech, of course, but he's so past it.
Yeah.
No, okay. Thing is, half that stuff is Genesis device, right?
I know.
Which we did a long time ago. And do you not think that no race... well, and actually, not even just that. With time tech, you could go back in time, implant a life form on a planet, and then evolve it. Like that, a lot of that stuff is doable now with a way around. What I like about the idea is it's a button press. Is that you can then craft the exact DNA of I need a Tellarite looking creature in 10,000 years, and it'll biologically determine the path and implant it. That's very clever. I don't know how practical like that version is. If it's instant like Genesis, that's a whole different thing. But don't know if they're implying that. The reverse dead thing, I would think Stamps a bit worried about, given he was
he brought his husband back to life. So.
But it is a god tech literally. And I mean, has he not seen enough sci-fi movies where they become zombies and it goes wrong, or the soul gets lost, whatever?
Han Pritchard says, "Oh no, do you think they'll use it to bring back Book's people?" I think there might be the option that might be a possibility for Book, and he's not going to take it because last season he went against everything for his own, and he said that already in this season. I've made mistakes that I want to make right.
It feels unethical to bring back the dead in that way.
100%, yeah.
I would rather they say, we'll go back in time to 2 minutes before it blowed up, get him on a cargo ship and take him home. You're not ahead of the timeline then. That I would rather solution, that loophole versus bringing back to dead. Now possibly that could lead us to killing Burnham or Book and reanimating based on the tech, but I don't...
Somebody's going to die and be brought back.
But I don't want to see that, and they did that in season...
I don't want to see it either, but I can see the writing on the wall for that.
But that's why, like, what he said didn't feel as amazing as I think the writers meant it to seem. Because half of it we can do, half of it we have done. You know what I mean? Like, Genesis also reanimated Spock.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It was, but again, it was amazing 2 million years ago. But I don't know. It wasn't quite the same. So I almost, saying thanks to the because we also don't know what Rayner knows. He might say, "Oh yeah, the Protheans worked that out 50 years ago." The Tellarites, that he might be thinking more grand scale.
Sure he is.
But he's like, right, and is that it? And I love Paul's choice or the actor's name choice saying, yeah, that's it. I love that. It's a really odd choice for a performance. And it's like
Dismissed.
Oh,
nice to meet you too.
Yeah. But that's him. That's Stamets being a dick. Normally, that's exactly his tone. He's always like that. Yeah. And then Tilly's like, that is bullshit. She says, push him to speak free. Screw it, I'll do it anyway. Oh my god! And he's so patient with her. He's so patient with this child. Good for him.
And her 20 words. You're on a new ship, fresh off a demotion, trying to hide how hard it is that you're being.
Which is fair.
Oh, that's 20 words.
Best joke of the episode. Solid joke, and her performance is like, yeah, that's a really good performance. But she's so out of line here, and it's so frustrating. It's like, give him a chance. Yeah, you're right. He's lost his ship. He's lost his crew. He's suffered more than you have in the last 6 months. But they both perform it well. Yeah. It's a good scene.
Yeah. Next scene is the fight between...
Well, a Vulcan fight, yeah.
T'Rina and Saru. Not much of a fight, but she's pissed off, and it upsets Saru because her aide went behind her back to something she already addressed with him. It's like a kid. When you're married and you have a kid asks the one parent one thing, they say no, so they go around to ask the other parent. That causes fights all the time. This exact same thing happens here. Anyway.
Yes. That's a clever way of saying it. Yeah. But it's a good chat, and obviously she gets pissed. I'm, for the most part, fine with the scene. I, however, disagree with her saying it's not your job to look after me, or some variants of that. It is his job to look after her, and every couple's job is to look after the other couple, a member of the couple. That's part of the... So she's wrong, but she's a president. She has to be self-sufficient. Like, I get it. She's not used to being a... Neither of them are. I get that, but she's just wrong there. Blair.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Stamets is the same rank as the guy.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, you can be. There's no permission to speak freely if the same rank. It's like, F you. We're the same rank. Demote me, bitch. You can't.
Yeah.
Right, guys, we are halfway through. 65 votes. Love some more super chats, comments, questions, thoughts. Let us know what you think of this episode. A couple more fives would be tremendous. Stuart, I asked the big question, and the audience has to come up with a big answer to us. Which episode was your favourite so far? Last place is episode 2 with 17%, Stuart. Second place, this episode with 20%. And a shock victory, Stuart. Episode 1, 63%.
Not a shock victory. It's the one you like the best. So
it is the one I like the best.
Happy.
I'm just saying. I thought it'd be more even than that. Yeah, there we go. Interesting.
Luckily, she ran out of words. Could have been punished for insubordination.
It's a good.
I think Rayner understands her frustration as well, and because at the end when they talk in the bar, I think he understands where she's coming from, what she's trying to do. It's one of those situations. So
yeah, I mean, he's also got to adjust to an entirely different crew who just do things differently, and he's obviously realizing they're from the past. Like there's going to be huge levels of cultural dissimilation.
Yeah,
they can't relate to each other. Alien from the future who's lived through the burn. Human who lived in a lovely, they're not, but
who gave up everything of their life to come to the future. It's just they've each given up something and been through different experiences. Everybody.
Like now they can start to build a bond, but
yeah,
and I'm probably, although I didn't get in the scenes, she might be pissed at him for Saru being Saru's replacement, but she's not a crew member, so she shouldn't be.
I don't think so. I don't think that plays into it.
I'm trying to guess why she's so mature, but that could be another layer, like which adding layers to.
I could see other crew members feeling that way.
But that didn't come across either.
I don't think I would get it from Tilly, but yeah.
She storms off. He is visibly like, what? And you realize how young Saru is. He's relative to other characters. He really is a young boy. Then you get more Night for Day with the stupidest scene by absolute.
Well, this is actually really cool. She pulls out the barb, and then I love how the phaser also has a built-in dermal regenerator. Like it's a multi.
It was the phaser. Okay, I didn't know it was a separate prop.
No, I'm pretty sure it's the phaser prop. But it was cool. But yeah, they see the eggs and go, well, we shouldn't be disrupting these creatures now, so let's just get out of here. And they go to transport, and it's like, oh, the minerals in the rock are preventing transport. It's like you were just just walk out from there, go the other direction out of those rocks, and then transport. Anyway,
yeah, they decide the first bit's great, but the logic of the second bit's not great.
Yes. So they decide to go out, and she deactivates her phaser and is like, "We're coming across as a threat. Try to talk to them now. Tell them that we're really sorry and that we're going to leave them alone."
Because unlike other scenarios, she's actually a xenobiologist. It actually makes sense. Now, of course, it's an unknown alien race on a planet that's never been, blah, blah. But, hey, worth a punt. And, guys, as soon as they leave the rocks, they can beam away. So they're in no danger. They're idiots because they beamed the whole thing. And they don't even say these rocks, they say the rocks. It's a very poorly written moment that doesn't make any sense.
It's a very script needed it to be a way it is.
It also feels super cheap, just between two rock props. Like it's a really, it just has a feeling of cheap, ran out of money. But that's okay.
Between a rock and a script conceit.
Yes. But then, I do like the next bit though. It does imply they're very smart because to say they know what a weapon is, and a lack of weapon therefore is a lack of weapon. I don't know if would a lion understand a gun being you're dead. I don't know if they know what a gun is. I don't know if they'd understand that. It's a, you know what I mean. But they're aliens. It's fine. But I like the idea of this scene. I would have liked to have had some semblance they're more smart than they were implied. Like Book had said, some more complex emotions or whatever. It's fine. Just it's a bit of a simple ending.
Well, they let them go, and then we see the moon. Look, it's moonlight. That's why it's colored like this.
Yeah, and in this shot, as you say, with thing. So if you look behind them, you can. And I'll just raise the brightness. You can literally see the blue sky, the actual blue sky, and and on and Colby, you can see the speck of his face. Sunlight causes speck. Moonlight's too dark. It wouldn't cause speck clarity. That being a very bright moon.
It's a very big, bright moon. This is a different planet. It's not Earth.
Okay.
And there's always
fake
conceits with
CG
Star
moon.
Trek, my friend.
Does Trill have any moons at that close? Like, look, the sky's goddamn. Oh, it's just funny.
Anyway, he's just hanging out, looking at the stars. Simple
night
pleasure.
Sky.
Yeah.
I wonder if I could make it look like day again.
So you knew that was their nesting ground. Yep. So you were why would you do that? I really like his answer. I want to know what you do if you encountered a life form that was vastly different from your own. Good test for this kind of thing, right?
If you died, then you weren't it.
Yeah. Would you have let us die? Yep.
And he doesn't. But he doesn't say in the most dickish way. It's a very matter of fact, unemotion filled way. Really good choice for that, I think. Because it's true. Like, if you guys aren't ready, I'll slumber again. Someone else will come in a few thousand years, I guess, maybe. Possibly.
George Mangrum, member for 37 months at the rank of lieutenant.
Love you, George.
Hashtag save lower decks.
Yep. But yeah, I love not Colber here. I love the tone. And yeah, he just pulls the thing out from a rock face.
To be fair, he's had time. He could have gone and retrieved it from somewhere else.
Yes.
And just...
Well...
I'm gonna... Because honestly, under just loose rocks like that is just kind of silly. Somebody will find it eventually.
Oh, look, you can see the reflection of the daylight of the shadow of the rocks on the right. That's clearly the sun causing shadows. That's not how the moon works. It's diffuse. Oh, babes.
It's an alien moon. Shut up.
You always got it so specific how you shoot. You never shoot the sky. You never shoot shadows. Sorry. I could see him possibly doing that, but I don't. That would imply he thinks they were going to succeed, and I think he was like ambivalent on it. But
ambivalent.
Maybe he was on their side. Yeah, but it's funny. It's a good little end. It's a stupid end, but it works. It kind of he's a lighthearted kind of guy.
It was a nice scene. It was again, it was well written. I like the logic behind it. Like if they died doing this, then they weren't the ones. You know.
If you heard lots of gunfire, I think they're not the ones.
Yeah.
So they could have shot them.
And yeah. Anyway, so the next puzzle piece just has the coordinates to the next clue. Very straightforward. There's no riddle there. I love how there's actual legitimate numbers: 23, 31, 246, and 20. Not alien numbers. Not alien writing. Legit numbers. I mean,
well, yeah. I think they were probably assuming that anybody to do the first riddle probably is on the right path. Especially since once you this is not a path you can tread twice. Once the first clue's gone, you're never going to find it again, right?
Yeah.
So it's a one and done. It has to be presumably progressively easier, because it's like, well, if there's no second try, they're gone. Just kind of, again, we talked about this last week. It's done by itself. The concept of one and gone. But yes, Zenkethi we learn later.
And the next scene is Saru approaching T'Rina.
Is odd, I think. The scene? Didn't expect them to take this route for this scene.
Oh, I didn't either, but I love the way it played out. She's like, it's in the past. It's very Vulcan of her, because when a Vulcan says it's in the past, I always think of Amok Time, where T'Pring, or the old lady, she's like, The air is the air. What can be done? You know, we can't change the air. Kirk can't fight in this. Well, the air is the air. What can we do? Triox compound. That's what you can do. Anyway, it's very logical to be like, a relationship, you're going to have disagreements. You're going to have conflicts. It's over. It's done. It's fine. And Saru's like, oh my God, thank God. That's going to go way worse.
Yeah.
Because I've never fought with anybody that I've felt like this way with before. So thank you. And also, let's get that announcement out as soon as possible. Yeah. I thought it was a well played out scene.
Yeah, so it's odd. That's what I mean. It's an odd and refreshingly like, oh, maturity. But she's the president of Vulcan. She'd best be mature.
And she even says, you know, I took his advice into consideration.
Yep.
I need to announce this because if I don't and people find out about it, then they'll think I'm hiding things from them. And what else would I be hiding? Logical to the core.
Well, especially when somebody in the Vulcan Council publishes the non-published announcement on WikiLeaks, and that gets spread on Vulcan Twitter.
Have you heard the president is dating an alien?
Yeah.
They're going to get married, but in secret, apparently, because she hasn't told us.
Yeah. Because I think, you know, she's a very smart lady. You have to be in that position. She's probably thought 10 steps ahead. To ask him to marry her, she's already at the chapel in her head. She's already making the babies. Like, she's already there. She has to plan that far. This isn't spontaneous. They're not humans, right? So the fact that she's pissed, fine. Over it, fine. It's odd, but I buy it because it's odd, and it obviously skips that. We don't need a multi-story arc of this. We don't need it. And so I was like, I've never had a girlfriend. This is weird. I'm cool. Okay, not in trouble anymore. Cool. Yay.
Yeah.
Yay, love. Weird. Like, it's nice. It's weird, but it's nice.
And Eric Martin is here with $5.
Welcome,
Thank you
Eric.
so much, Eric. I wonder what GTA area rock quarry that was filmed in. Hey, we'll have to go check. GTA stands for Greater Toronto Area, in case you didn't know. But yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to go visit that planetscape and the church at Balls Falls.
Oh, if we could film it, that'd be great. Stuart, we can go to Trill.
We can also go to the church from season 2 of Discovery if you wanted to.
That would be a confusing set piece. Stuart, where's Red Angel suit? You know, Trill's easier. Trill's easier.
We could find the quarry.
We could find the quarry. And we get the sound of a beep. Stuart, they're here. Where are they? They're invisible. Phew. I don't have to render them. I mean, see them. But yes, then we get the resolution of the thing, and it's sweet. There's no dodge. I appreciate this. Trill is gentle and calm. Thanks you for the bit of extra life. It's nice. It's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
Now we can both rest. Finally. I just want to die because I'm fucking old.
Well, it's so confusing. I'm assuming they're doing it ambiguous, die or not die. It must take a lot for a Trill symbiont to say, I've had enough. Please euthanize me, you know. But also, yeah, I think they can leave it up to interpretation, so maybe they can come back later. Because they do see the Trill to be
yeah, it swims away into the pond.
I'm happy to say this character died, but like, that's a weird thing until the day
I like the
die.
Trill just swim away and just all of a sudden like turn upside down and float.
Well, yeah,
dead now.
Yeah, there's no visuals to correspond to death, but yeah.
Well, the whole speech that Gray gives is really good.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a second, but
yeah. But Colber's like, I have not the words for this. Good, well acted. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, and you should beam up and get looked at by the doctor. Which I love that she mentions the doctor, Dr. Pollard again. Thank God, because she tells Book 2 you should beam up and have Dr. Pollard take a look at that leg. So
they all disappear one by one. Hurrah, hurrah.
And Dr. Pollard met Rayner. She was talking about the brain bug eating something earlier in this episode. So she's still around, which is good. Because Colber is not the main doctor. So.
No, he's the shrink.
Yeah. Which
actually makes sense. They all disappear, leaving Adira and Burnham. And then Burnham's like, peace out. Thanks.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, you might get attacked by some ruthless people who have guns and tech and black hole bombs. We got this.
Yeah. Trill security's fine. All I thought of instantly was Swiss Guard at the Vatican. Highly trained, but they look goofy, but they can handle their own. So,
but I feel like, one black hole grenade into the Trill pond and burn.
Ooh,
you know what I mean?
I do now that you said it. Never considered that before.
You don't want to lose your Trill just for this. And if they are that good, why aren't Trill guards protecting everything? It's the standard thing about why is Strange New World bombed or Discovery not protecting everything. But you can tell it's overconfidence. He's not really saying that. And the fact they got in without detection shows how shit they are, because they're just that good, Which is still a weird ending, but we'll get there.
Well, then we get the bartender, friendly bartender, and how he says, "Welcome to Reds."
It's Logo Cola.
Yeah. The bar's name is Reds, apparently, or his name's Reds. Anyway.
I mean, it's obviously contrived, but you know what? Do it. Have that fun. I think there was one in season 4, but I think it's a different bar set, maybe? Or we never shot from this angle before.
I think it's the same bar set because of the fireplace we see in a second.
I just like maybe it's shot better. I don't know. This is a good scene. This is a very measured scene. This is we're both right, we're both wrong, we learned. And he's clearly giving, which happens with every captain, off-duty you is different.
Yeah.
Of course it is. Like, you need to understand that, Tilly. Like, now I'm off-duty, I can be more free. This is a good conversation. He
does say to her, leadership and friendship are two different beasts.
Yeah.
Professional distance keeps the distinction clear. My crew understood that. We had a shorthand of mutual trust. Mm-hmm. And then Tilly jumps in and says, well, in my experience, sir, it helps if the crew believes you actually care about them. And then he goes on to rattle off. Commander Reese has extensive and comprehensive interest in ships. It goes far beyond the tactical. And then talks about Linus and should I go on?
Yeah.
And then Tilly's response is actually perfectly measured as well. Analyzing them is not the same as connecting with them or showing them respect. Respect is earned, he says. She goes, I agree, but that goes both ways. You got to earn their respect as well. They shouldn't just automatically give you respect because you're their commander, essentially. I love his reaction to that. He's like, as she walks away, like she actually made a good impression on him, and kind of I like it. I think it's really well done, this scene. So,
yeah, it's a like they're all coming from the right place. But they're very, very, very different people. And she's not one to see him do his process, and he's not one to let her show him her crew in the way she wants.
Yeah.
But yeah, we build up. This is literally day one. Give us a chance. But yeah, respect's earned, except if you're the captain, where you've earned it by getting the rank. Like any new officer that walks on a ship, you give them respect instantly. That's the job you've signed up for. It's how we do past that, you earn as being a good captain in the field. But again, day one, give them at least 2 days to earn that respect for everyone else. But yeah, they both felt they've learned from the scene, and the slug of cola, I'm sure, was delicious.
So we get Colber and Burnham. She talks about the next clue points to Zenkethi space, but unfortunately, diplomats have to clear the way. And there's a lot of red tape. So, and then Colber talks about having another consciousness inside him, and talks about his grandmother and how she used to have different religious iconography in the house, saying that there's not one answer, there's not one way or one way to look at a problem or anything. She used to tell me that was a reminder that not everything has an answer. So.
Yeah, and I like that. It's not them saying, hey, she was religious. It's saying there can be things we don't know yet. That I thought was a well-balanced way of saying it. And Colber saying, I need the answers. That's what scientists people like. They want to find the answers, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good scene.
And it ends with, maybe at the end of this, we'll find the answers we need for both of us.
See, I didn't need that. Another tropey. I'm searching for the truth. The answers, the Prometheus star. Like, there's nothing that she will find that will help her. Because she finds a life-giving tech that shows how she was made 1 billion years ago is not going to make her feel better about her life. if anything, it'll reduce that because she was an experiment of a science person. Like that's not. I didn't like that. That's not the right message you should be bringing from this.
That's the one thing we talked about when we did our speculation on this season, and it's like I don't see how this is going to end. It can't end in any satisfying manner. Either they find technology that made all life in the universe. It's still like, who made the life that made that?
Yeah.
Or there's going to be no satisfactory wrap up to this season. I don't think. The answers are elsewhere.
Except Anthony Rapp in a coat. That'd be a satisfying wrap up.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I liked when it was just the science of it, but as soon as she brings these grander themes, as if she feels empty without it, that's not going to be useful in any meaningful way. You can't do anything with
Well,
that.
he brought in the grander themes of bringing in religion. Those are the answers he's looking for. She mentioned specifically technology. She's looking for a technological answer. So that's why she says maybe we'll find answers for the both of us.
Still.
It's two different approaches to it.
Yeah, still.
And there's not going to be I don't know how they're going to end it. I really don't. So
don't know if they do either. But I liked her tone here in the previous bit with Zen Kathy. Like, we can't just go guns blazing. She's learned. She's developing. Super. Love it. Because you could just spore in, spore out.
Nobody will notice.
And you could be cloaked. So I that's good growth, Burnham. She's proper captain. And doesn't even sound like she's like, oh, I wish I could. No, she knows she shouldn't. She's not going to do it. She respects the law. Good job. That's captaining.
Finally. Yeah. Eric Martin, $5. No crying. There's supposed to be crying in Discovery and not in baseball.
That's season 1, 2. There's 1 and 2. Yeah. Isn't that Discovery?
Then we get the send off of the symbiote, and I love this little speech that Gray gives. The life of a symbiote is a journey that spans centuries. Each host it passes through changes it, and it changes each in return. A lesson that teaches us that every life is a journey, a series of changes. We must work to understand those we encounter on our journey, and we must choose to connect, not only with others, but also with ourselves. Sometimes we fail, sometimes we succeed. Either way, we must keep trying because we have to. Because we're all looking for meaning in our lives. And in the end, the connections we make will lead us there. I thought that was great. And the cutting between Colber looking out at the stars and Book looking at the picture of the young Maul, and then it ending with them holding hands. I thought that was really well done, actually. So
it's gentle and timeless, which is good. And it is, like I said, it is vague. Are they dying? Are they not? Are they moving on to not be a host anymore? Because that could be all it means. Like, they've lived as a host. They want a goddamn break.
Yeah.
You know, it's probably quite draining to live with someone else. Because the Trill live a long time. They've all said that already. Yeah, it's a gentle speech. I do like the cutaways. I think they're all pretty good. I like Rayner. I like I also quite liked the satisfaction for the 3 seconds of Stamets putting it in. I felt that. And like the... No.
Listen to your phrasing on that one.
No, we're not Archer. We're not doing phrasing. And I like Burnham's... meditation. That was good. Although the nebula was very fake, but that's okay. And the Trill thing at the end, it's nice. I was definitely thinking... Where... Like, okay, if they've got the clue and they're never going to be able to get it again, then the baddies aren't going to be able to find them. I guess they're going to have to, like, go to Starfleet Command, be cloaked, and, like, dock at some point to their ship. That's why I was like, this is a very closed loop sort of situation. Huh. How are they going to progress this?
But then we get Maul, who puts a little Apple tracking device on Gray, which cloaks. So, yeah.
Oh, it cloaks.
It's the old trope of, we're going to let you do all the work. Once you've found the entire puzzle, we're going to swoop in and steal it last minute. We're going to follow you the entire way. You do all the hard work, set off all the traps, then put yourself in danger, and then we're going to swoop in and save it. That's how it always plays out in these things, and that's exactly what they set themselves up for.
The problem is, there won't be very much. Because you're not gonna.
We know they are, because there's a shootout at some point. So,
but like you say, that could just be them doing we found the final piece. Because we've not established a bridge for them yet. We're 3 in, and already you're lowering.
I don't think we're gonna get that.
That's what I mean. We're removing some of that.
This is the way Discovery does things. Even last season, remember? The first 2 episodes, you were like, "This is pretty good. This is going," and then it just went.
Because they could pad the shit out of this season,
and they're going to.
Well, all their Discovery arc again. But this, I did think the scene's an odd one. I don't know exactly how this character could blend in perfectly. It's like you're not a Trill. How do you get through scanners?
Yeah, I noticed her hair right away. I'm like, that's Maul.
Oh, I didn't. Like, how do they not know every person who's in this set of people? Like,
yeah, this is like an inner sanctum of the monks, like the high.
And even Gray's like, "Oh, do you want to meet my friends? All the recruits together." Like, you wouldn't. Even this, it's like, we haven't got a 5'7" girl who we don't reckon. Those lips, I don't know. Yes, I am Darth Sidious of Maul. Yeah. But wow. it is a slightly dumb end, the way it's framed. It's very cartoony, even like...
Slightly.
It doesn't work, like, brilliantly. I would have probably preferred, after this scene, to beam out, be on the ship, have a more epic end beat. I get it, it's fine, but I would like to have a slightly stronger end. But at least I got that question answered in the absolute last minute.
Yeah, it's a tracker, all right. It's like a beryllium patch.
Yeah, it's trope, but it's absolutely fine.
Stephen W. Fothery is here from Text Trek, $5. Yes. Disco has been a big part of our lives for years. Thanks, Trekyards, for all the content. I started watching y'all in 2015 when they announced new Trek. Well, thank you, Stephen. We appreciate that. And you're doing great work over on Text Trek as well. I tune in every once in a while. Plus, I'm on your Discord. You have a really good community, and thank you for watching our stuff. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Will we be seeing in Vegas? That's the question.
Yeah, you were on the cruise. So are you going to go to Vegas as well? But yeah, that's the end. So they got the tracker on Gray. So
yeah,
hopefully Gray stays with the ship. Gray decides to stay on Trill, screws everything up. Oh my god.
No, I think Gray's one is gently done. Gently done.
Sorry, put the tracker on Adira. Did I say Gray? I meant Adira. Yeah, Adira decides to stay on Trill and stay with Gray, and then oh no, our plan is foiled.
Yes. So there you go, episode 3, guys. A few more super chat, your thoughts, questions, or review scores. We'd love to get 3, 4, 5s, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know what you think. I'm very interested to know your review scores on this one, guys. I don't know my opinions yet. Don't know his opinions yet. Let us know.
And Stephen Fothery says he will be in Vegas this year, so we'll see you there.
See you there.
We got our picture with you last time we were there.
Yes. I remember it.
Yeah. So we'll have to hang out. Anywho's.
So, Stuart, what are your new final thoughts on this episode? And, as I like to ask, has this discussion with you changed your opinion at all?
Well, it was a very lively, upbeat conversation, actually, which I didn't expect for this episode. I also didn't expect it to be as long as it was. I don't know if you realize.
We do our bit, Stuart. We do.
Yeah, secretly behind the scenes, I was getting the last screen caps that I needed to get the entire time, pausing occasionally to talk. So hopefully it didn't come across that way. Anyway, this was... Okay, this is a good episode of Star Trek, just in general. All right, it's kind of middle of the road though, for all Trek. It really is. It's nothing spectacular or standoutish about it. It adds to the Trill lore a little bit. That's fine. Moving that progenitor story along, that's fine too. But nothing standoutish. Honestly, it felt very much generic sci-fi in some aspects, especially with the bugs and stuff. Like there was a lot of video gamey tropey stuff for that story, that part of the story anyway. But that being said, we got to see more of Rayner, which was awesome, and we get to see a little bit of growth on his end at the end when he talks to Tilly. Tilly dealing with him, I thought that was really a good back and forth and good scenes, getting to kind of learn a little bit about the other crew members. So I enjoyed that aspect of it. The Adira and Gray stuff, it wasn't needed, and for me, it was the worst part of the episode. It was like the slowest speed bump as far as pacing went. But they moved past it rather quickly. They didn't drag it out like I thought they would. It was very much a, hey, we need to talk. Here we're talking. Here we're talking. Are we breaking up? Yep. Moving on. It didn't last as long as it could have, and normally for Discovery that it would have. So I really appreciate that they just got that out of the way. Colber was a standout in this one. Wilson Cruz, I think, did a fantastic job doing the Trill thing, and I also like the way he approached the puzzle piece, and the test for whether they were worthy of getting it. I think it was all very well handled. I thought there were a lot of coincidences, like it just happened to be before he died. I mean, 800 years is pushing it for a Trill. They make that point. It's fine. it's all fine. So
well, they also knew they had to live to give the message. They probably had a better diet. You know, they tried to stay healthy. You know, exercise.
Yeah, and then the old hollow of, in the event of my death, please play this hollow and learn all the information and then carry that on, because we don't know how long it's going to take people to figure this shit out. But yeah, so that's all great. This Saru and T'Rina stuff was fine. Not really needed, but I do care about Saru's character, so I want to see him happy, and I kind of like the way it all played out with the fight and then making up, essentially. I think it was fine, right? But there was a lot of character stuff in this, like relationship wise, that I personally don't really give a shit about.
I told you, episode 1, love stories, man.
I know, yeah, right?
Like the romance season.
Yeah.
It's weird.
So, but that being said, even though I don't like that kind of aspect of shows necessarily, like I don't feel like I need it, it worked well enough here, and it was, the pacing for it was good. It was problem, solution, moving on. So, yeah. Did it change my thought process?
I was going to say
about it though.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I think it makes me appreciate the episode a little more, actually. Just the fact that I thought you were very dismissive of this episode, but you brought up some really good points. So I really kind of appreciate that fact.
Try to.
It is the worst of this season, but that's not saying it's bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's very middle of the road Star Trek. But for Discovery, middle of the road is pretty good.
Far in the road, yeah.
But for Discovery this season, it's the lowest one. So.
And guys, subtract your scores. We'll get a couple
Yes.
of scores in. We're not far off a goal.
Please super chat in some scores. Just a 5 will do. Eric, Steven, everybody, anybody who want to super chat in a score, we'd really appreciate it. So
what score would you give?
Okay, for this season,
Uh-huh.
this one's probably going to get a let's see, 7.3.
Okay.
It's kind of just middle of the road-ish.
Well, that's 3/4 to perfect.
Well, we never give anything 0 though. I always start scores
I'm just saying,
at 4 or
that's
5.
That's just saying.
Yeah.
So all Discovery.
Oh my goodness! All Discovery. This would have to get a. I'm going to say 7.4. Again, it's just kind of there, you know.
So it's kind of there, you know.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Yeah.
How about you?
Your thoughts? Yeah, it's funny. I think this discussion, I like it less, but I appreciate it more. In that I appreciate the small things it did, the dialogue choices, but also it reiterated how nothing is great in it. If you know what I mean. It's fine. It's a lot of mediocrity with a lot of similarly good but mediocre nice bits. It's odd. Loads of moments they could have done better. Didn't do much bad. Pacing's fine. Again, they're not doing bad with pacing. Colber's the MVP. He absolutely makes the episode. Without him, it'd be much lower. He's the thing that brings it up. The Saru stuff is fine. It's nice. I mean, it's nice to see. We asked for Federation stuff last season. That's not quite what I expected. We'd like to advance there to a bit more weight. but it's all fine. Burnham's good. Good for Burnham. The new captain's great. Tilly is just too much disrespect. Hopefully she'll get better as the season goes on. Annoyed the bridge crew were ignored, except the new bridge crew. That certainly gets a slight demotional points because I guess they were busy. But Jesus Christ, like, I really would have made this episode, honestly, about the bridge crew if you were going this route. Like,
Yeah.
give that the chunk that we needed, and they threw them away.
Thanks for mentioning that. I forgot to mention that part. Yeah. Don't introduce us to a whole new bridge crew. We want to learn more about Detmer, Washicum, and
Bryce.
Reese. We got to learn a little bit more about Reese, but it just seems odd that they just, here's new characters. I know they didn't know it was their last season going in, but here's new characters. The bridge crew, yeah, we'll mention them. We said their names a few times.
It's very strange.
It's disrespectful.
It is. Yeah. Especially now, you look at Lower Decks, how good they do the side characters. Or Strange Worlds, how well they do all of the cast. Or Picard, how well they did the season 3. Well, kind of some. But, like, they've done so well, it's like, well...
Lower Decks is the standout, though. You got Billups, you got Stevens, you got a whole bunch of people that you know a lot about.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
in a very little, in a much shorter amount of time, because they're only half-hour episodes.
Hyper side characters who you care about, like, and have more personality. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, good point. So, like I say, it's good. It's not... I don't think I'd watch the episode for pleasure again, because not enough happens of interest.
I'd watch the Helldiver 2 part. That's about it.
Which is funny, because that was the reverse of what you were thinking. Because there's not even there's no cherry on this cake. There's not even icing, really. It's a decently tasty sponge, but it's bare. There's not much on it of like, wow.
Yeah.
But it's a fine taste cake, but I will pick other cakes in the shop. This is just a basic cake. And just because the jam's nice, I need the icing, I need the cherry, I need the chocolate sauce, I need the decoration. And if it had started the DS9 flashback arc, you'd have changed the game a bit. You'd have ended the franchise knowing, boom, we did canon love, whatever. So I'm gonna be harsher with my scoring just because this season I think will do better. And I think can do better, right? So for this episode, enjoyment and quality, I think I'm gonna give it a 6.2.
Okay.
So I think it is above average, but average is 5. Not because bad, it doesn't much good. Now, if there's worse episodes, like, I'll reserve the right to say if there's worse episodes of the season which do worse things, this will go up. But I'm hoping it's just a chill point to bigger things. That's what I'm
hoping so too.
So it's not a negative 6.2, it's just a not doing its best 6.2. All Discovery, I mean, that's again a slightly broken scale. Season 1, Season 2, So I'm gonna be happy and say just a 7. I think that's fair. Like, still gets top 30% All Discovery, happy. But it does make you appreciate in some level of like the episodes that piss you off to do stupid things. At least you're like into them. It's weird, But yeah, 6.2 and 7. Yeah, my worst of the season, but not in a bad way.
Only 3 episodes in, so yes.
Yeah.
The worst is
but I wouldn't even say it's going downhill. That's not what season 2 was that. It's just not quite as interesting. It's a different sort of diminishing quality. But yeah, it's confusing season so far. Yeah.
Fleet Paw Swiftback throws in $5. For the season, 7 out of 10.
Okay.
For the series, 7 out of 10.
Oh.
For the whole of Trek, a 4 out of 10.
See, I would say it was a 5 all of Trek. It's very average. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There's a lot of worse TNG episodes.
Yeah, there are.
But just they do stupid things.
Mark Lawrence, $5.
See you in Vegas too.
Yes. 7.25 out of 10 for me. Every stop along the clue path is getting an episode, so it seems slower than it should be paced. Well,
if that's true, we'll burn through it though. There's only 5 pieces.
By episode 6, we're going to have like the final piece, the puzzle. So,
And they might be saving money ish for things. Yeah.
And Eric Martin, $5. Haven't watched the episode
Oh.
or this season, but here's some cash for the cause. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Eric. Much appreciated.
Lovely super chat. And we are now $7 away from a goal. Just saying. As I read out the non-super chat scores. I really want to know what you guys think, so put in the chat right now. Okay, so
before you do that, I want to read one thing.
Yeah.
Sean T says a Dax cameo would have been cool, but they already said 800 years for a Trill symbiote is pushing it. Dax was already 300 and some odd years old by DS9, so no. And also, if they had done that, it would have caused the whole small universe syndrome all over again, where you're always meeting the same people and the same characters.
Now that said, if you had a flashback and Ezri Dax, Nicola de Boer show up with a bit of de-aging.
Yes, the flashback would have been...
Because she looks pretty similar. Do some wrinkle work. She's pretty similar.
Yeah.
That would be cute. And weird and cute. Just saying, that would have been kind of fun. Right, Donnie says 8 out of 10. Okay. Stanley 7.5. Han 6. Agreed. Adira and Gray is typically tedious and wooden delivery brought it down for me. I wouldn't say either wooden. I actually wouldn't describe either as wooden. Gray is dull but not wooden. They're different. And Adira's all over the place. I actually wouldn't
literally, yeah.
I wouldn't say wooden at all. But fair enough. Aussie 8.1 and Mungo's 8.2. So for them, that's not super high. Kickus, or Kirk as TG. That makes more sense. 6.9 for New Trek. 5.8 All Trek score. Okay. Joseph 7.4. So we're actually getting the 7s. This seems to be a common thing. Matthew 7. Matthew Freitas. Han says, even for all these seasons, I still struggle to care much about most of the characters. I like Saru and Stamets the most. Yeah. Joseph 8.3. Okay, so yeah, not high score, not low. I mean, it'd be fascinating to go back and watch the season 1 scores if we were doing that then, because I'm sure we're getting 4s, 3s.
Probably.
You know, I'm sure we weren't doing that, but I assume there was quite a lot of that going on.
Yeah. It'll be fun. You know, after Discovery's done, we should do a live on a weekend, Junkyards, where it's just like a wake. A wake for Discovery, or a memorial for Discovery, where we look back at all our scores from all the seasons and may have to reshift some. I mean, we don't really remember all the episodes, and I don't want to go back and rewatch them all. But it'd be interesting to see the scores. Judging by the title of the episode, we'll be able to get a synopsis and find out what it was about. It'll be fun. It might be interesting. It might be something that we do.
I mean, let's be brutally honest. Maybe a Discovery Season 1 rewatch review series could be interesting.
It could be, actually.
You'd have to hate watch come and super chat for it to make it worthwhile, because it's not going to get that many people. So you have to make it like worth it for us to do. But that could be super interesting to go back to the bullshit that started it all. Because I've never watched the season again. I refuse to.
I did. I went back and watched half of season 1, and I didn't have my review brain on.
Yeah.
I kind of enjoyed it more, but it's not Star Trek. It's good. It's interesting sci-fi. Well, if you can take the Star Trek out of it, it's pretty enjoyable to watch. There's some really cool things.
Yeah, don't think about it. Just watch it. And also,
the
expectations were obviously much lower because you thought it was crap. Like, you know, like...
That's the other thing. Yes, going in, I thought, oh, this is going to be awful, and I was like, some good moments here. What the hell?
Just don't think about the story, the canon, the characters, the development. But that, if you just watch it, So that could be interesting, guys, to rewatch that, and even do like a weekly review series of the first 13 again. Could be interesting. Hard, but could be interesting.
Plus, I enjoyed Stamets, I enjoyed Tilly, and I enjoyed Lorca in season 1, and so watching them all again was like, oh yeah, these are the characters I fell in love with. Then they all changed or disappeared, but that's okay. So,
but Burnham got better, and she's the lead. Remember?
She got way better. Oh my god. Yeah, she's way different than season 1. Oh my god.
That would be the refreshing thing to watch. Like you did that good. You did that good.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway. Any final super chat, thought, comment, question? Like I said, 7, and we are good.
Yeah.
Next week we have some fun plans, although it might not be fucked over because of lower decks, you motherfuckers.
Yeah, originally we were going to have Klingon rankings, Klingon ships, a tiered list on Monday,
Mm-hmm.
and then and a new project we have, AI live kind
Mm-hmm.
of story on Tuesday, which will be
Yes.
fun. We'll explain more about it when we get to that one. But
That guys, when you see that, there's 47 of you. Tune in for that because you have total control over that, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So make sure you watch out for the AI stories. Definitely next week at some point, but tune in for that, guys. That's absolutely worth it. We did a
and
test, and it gets crazy.
yeah, the
It's
test was fun.
it's worth it.
Yeah. And people were super chatting in $7 million super chats for the test. It was awesome.
Yeah, you guys are so generous. The fake you were typing in the chat was
We
really...
we used most of your names, and yeah.
We're
Anyway,
in internal chat. We're just saying Fleetpool gives $2 million. It's fun.
yeah.
It's fun.
Trek versus would probably be on Wednesday. We might have to shuffle things because we do want to talk about the Discovery or the Lower Decks cancellation.
Yeah,
Not really cancellation, but like ends last season.
yeah.
Um,
The non-renewal.
yes, that's a much better way to say it. So yeah, and then Thursday, of course, will be my first reaction again, and Friday will be the next episode. So yeah, full week of lives next week,
And probably the week after as well. Try and yeah, get you guys excited. But we have a question for me. How do you like Elias as Lack? He's famous for Deus Ex and Starfleet voiceovers. Probably one of the best male voiceovers available now. What's he done in Starfleet voiceovers? I think he might have been Low Decks once. Yeah, he's good. I forgot he was Deus Ex guy until it reoccurred to me, and I rewatched it. Like, oh yeah, it's the same exact voice. It's good. I mean, gravelly, deep, powerful. It's like casting James Earl Jones. It's like that's the vibe you're getting, right? And it's like, yes, good. Although he's obviously the second fiddle to the lady, which is sad because makeup's fantastic and he's very, but she's fine too. So fine. And Dan says, don't understand why everything has to be referenced to what came before. The old Link reference cameo is cool, but shows need to establish themselves or merit, not ripping off nostalgic. You say that, but look at the aliens Discovery's invented. None of them have even been talked about or mentioned by the fan base again.
but when we see a Sela redone from season 1 of TNG, we're like, "Ooh, that's awesome!"
Or a Ferengi, or like those things, because there's a universe. There's hundreds of races created. Like the fact that the captains are alien race of DS9 makes it meaningful. If it was just some guy, it's like okay, and then it'll like that added something now to the lore.
Yeah,
Like
and
we've already
even
got
them,
dozens of races. Why not use them?
and even them referring to the chase and the progenitors. It's a big draw for this season. Like a lot of people are like, "Ooh, that's an interesting." That was one of my favorite TNG stories.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
and it gives a season depth, instant depth. You don't have to explain. Well, they explained it, but like not the whole thing. Like it's a broad universe, but they've invented stuff that's not gonna go anywhere or do anything because it's just not been that interesting, right? Using something that's meaningful, it's kind of a small cheat code, right? And this is a great way of doing it because it's influenced by the chase, but it's not changing the chase. It's not like it's a good jumping off point. That's a clever way of doing it.
Yeah. But anyway, guys,
Yes.
I think we're going to call it there. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with us again. I really appreciate it. And tune in all next week. Lots of cool stuff coming up.
They're all going to be
some
good.
new exciting new show ideas for the lives. So tune into that. And until then, he is Commander Cockings.
And he is Captain Foley.
See you later.
Bye, guys.